Hi, I'm Q Eturautti from Multisilta in Tampere, and May Day, 1st of May, Labor Day, whatever you want to call it, is a pretty big thing here in Finland, and it's one of those times when political people go out and they have rousing speeches and they tell how they're right, the other one's wrong, and like these really speeches. You know what I'm talking about. But you see, my goal is to be the most boring candidate of the next municipal election. So I thought, what about if I gave a speech the day after this big day, and I made it a boring speech instead of an interesting one. So here we are. And here being a place called Pirkkoonpuiston Ötökkäpolku. Pirkkoonpuisto being the name of the place, southern Tampere. Ötökkäpolku translating as bug path. Now, this is a project done together with the city of Tampere and Fingrid, who manages the big power lines you're probably seeing in the distance there. So there's a huge power line, big voltages going up there, which means you cannot build here, and also you can't let the trees grow too high, so they can't really reach the power lines. But that means that there's some interesting, I suppose we could call them local biotopes here. So there's a swampy area there, lots of water, wet area, there's a rocky area, and there's a grassy area. And we know that different kinds of bugs live in those areas. So what they did is they built signs telling kids, like, over here we have the grassy area, we have these and these kinds of bugs, and this is how they do, and this is how they live here. There's a kindergarten right there, which means the kids can go pretty much right out the back door and learn and see about the bugs and nature right there live. It's a wonderful idea. It's also a wonderful path for walking, bicycling, running, hiking, whatnot. A lot of raspberries growing around here too. So it's a really nice idea. It comes from two very different parties coming together, and that's the thing I'm going with here. I'd like to see a political environment where things like this can happen, you know, not just between different members of the party, not just between parties, but between all the residents and all the visitors too. So whenever there's some kind of we could do together something wild, something new, something interesting, come on, let's keep the doors open. Let's make sure that we never look at what kind of flags and banners they're waving, but what is the idea? Is there any sense in the idea? Let's roll with it. Now, I'm not a great fan of the political party system. Some who know my past know that I've, dipped my feet in quite a few pools there along the years. I've now been a member of the National Coalition Party for a couple of years now. Is it because it's the ultimate best in everything party? No, but I've come to respect the way that differences of opinion are held there and processed there. There have been people who have disagreed with the public line and gone with it, and they haven't lost their respect. We have a wonderful woman used to work, be a part of decision-making here in the city of Tampere 10 years ago still, and much earlier from that, Riitta Koskinen. She sometimes went against the party line, but she stood with what she believed was right, and she didn't lose her reputation. But I want to tell you about another politician too, just looking back and making sure nobody else is coming into the video. Okay, Rick Falkvinge, probably pronounced it wrong, a Swedish politician, interesting figure. I was able to listen to him talk about managing political operation. This was over 10 years ago. And he basically said that there's something you can do, you know how to do, you're able to do it, you believe in it, you know, do it. Don't put too much bureaucracy. Just make sure if there's something you can do, you believe in it, you can do it, but you got to stand by it. You got to own what you do. If it goes well, great. You were able to do something, bureaucracy didn't stop you, we went forward. If it doesn't work, then you just say, okay, this thing went wrong, this and this failed, we got to learn from that next time, and you move along. And everyone else got to support that too. Not just the person doing, but everyone around. Support this attitude that we can do and go forward. More often than not, it brings you something good, okay? Now, Falkvinge was also mentioned several times in Swedish press for one thing above anything else: his ability to admit his mistakes. He did say something wrong, he admitted it. He went publicly, no buts or ifs, he said that I was wrong, this was my mistake. Just like that, and was very much respected for this. And this is something I also want to see a lot more of. If there was some kind of trouble, he also admitted that very openly. That's an admirable attitude. I hope to see something more of that in politics here as well. I think we can do something about that. Back to the bug path here. Now, we got flowers, we got our birds, butterflies, little bugs, bigger animals, everything going on here. Today it looks like this. Tomorrow a million little things have changed around here. Nature keeps going on, the earth keeps rotating and going around the sun. Life changes, and in politics, whenever we make a decision, we make a decision today, implement it the next day, and see the results the day after that. The day, of course, being a metaphor for a longer time period there. So during this time between decision making and seeing the results, a lot of different things are happening in the world. This one political change is just one part of one thread of politics, and that politics is just one thread among a million of other things that are changing in the world. We have to live with the fact that everything changes all the time and keep our eyes open, so to speak, keep the lights on in the attic at all times. We're going to come across with situations where it's something new. I want to be able to say, I don't know. I don't want to answer with a gut feeling, oh, I hate that idea. Oh, I love that idea. I want to look at it, ask those questions tons of questions first before coming to the answer. That was like my basic motto, you know, more questions, less answers. And not just go with the flow, but be ready to find out and figure, and be ready to challenge. You know, old preconceptions. Let's look at it and see, is it, we've done this way all the time, is the best way? But two-way street, remember. What if that old idea is actually a really good way of doing things? If we find that out, then let's go with it. Let's not just change things because for the fun of changing things, but because it's the good thing to do. We need a lot of open mind here, and we need to be able to work across any kind of political boundaries when we see new things, new possibilities. And we're building the future. I mean, that's a cliche. I mean, I'll go with you with that in any case, but you know, sometimes these cliches have a little bit of wisdom in them as well. So I'd like to see and ask good questions like, how many kind of flowers are we going to see here this summer? What kind of bugs? Are there going to be good raspberry fields here and whatnot? Those are really good questions, and I don't know. I want to see the future, and that's the kind of attitude I want to also see in politics. Embrace the unknown because it's a wonderful gift. And let's roll with that one. And just, like I said, lights on in the attic, positive attitude, and be ready to change things because, you know, they might just change for the better. All right, that's it for today. Bye-bye.